The Marinade.
There's no O in Marinade. Let's try it one more time. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
The Marinade.
Marinade.
Bone marinade.
That's
The Marinade.
The Marinade. With Jason Earle.
Last time that I saw you, you were carrying your gear in the rain. Down the alley at Yard Dog, after playing all day with your friends. The first time that I heard you, it was the Faces, ooh la la. I bought it at the One Hand Pantry. I played it all night long. Come on, dance.
Welcome to The Marinade with Jason Earle, a free-flowing conversation about the creative process with creative people. This is episode 41, and our guest is Kevn Kinney. Kevn is the lead singer and principal songwriter of the legendary band Drivin N Cryin. I have long dreamed of having Kevn on the show, but it was our conversation with former Drivin N Cryin guitarist Sadler Vaden, who's now with Jason Isbell in the 400 unit and also makes his own fine solo records, that really got me fired up to make this happen. You can hear that conversation on episode 20 of The Marinade with Jason Earle, and Kevn and I talk about it a little bit as well. This conversation was an adventure. Drivin N Cryin was playing in Tallahassee, Florida, which is a good 4+ hours from Marinade headquarters here in Orlando. To further complicate matters, I recently embarked on a bit of a social experiment. I sold my car with no timetable for buying another. If I lived in Portland, this might not be a problem. It might actually be seen as prudent and responsible. In Florida, people think I'm insane. We have virtually no trains in Florida, so my best option was to take a Greyhound bus for 4.5 hours to sit down with Kevn Kinney. And y'all, he did not disappoint. This was such a joyous conversation. Every knot in my back and crick in my neck proved small prices to pay for this opportunity. The song you're hearing in this episode is Ian McClagan off Drivin N Cryin's outstanding most recent record, Live the Love Beautiful. Kevn and I actually talk about that song in some detail, and he goes deeper than I think maybe any guest has on process around that particular tune and some others. Everyone, my incredible honor to present my conversation with Kevn Kinney.
You were carrying your gear in the rain. Down the alley at Yard Dog, after playing all day with my friends. Some people, they do one thing, talk about it all of their lives. But Ian McClagan keeps doing is what keeps him alive. That's what I'm talking about.
Tubular bells. Tubular bells.
Booty.
Tubular bells.
Bananas. Sandwich peppers.
Banana sandwich.
Pepper sandwich, pepper cheese.
Marinade.
And we're off.
Marinating.
Kevn, this is such an honor.
I love your handwriting.
Thank you.
I love your little book.
Thanks.
I didn't bring my glasses. I brought cool-looking glasses to hide from the audience.
Oh, that's smart.
I brought my blood pressure pills, but I didn't. Maybe
is that
I did
a
bring
thing?
glasses.
Is the hiding from the audience? Is that a thing? Like, are you self-conscious about it or something? See,
No,
I do the grid.
Oh, there you go. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
And then my partner
I should take shorthand.
sketches, and then I'll write short stories based on her sketches.
Okay.
Yeah. There's none here yet.
She looks angry.
Most of
She
her
looks like like she's been waiting in line, and like the guys ordered, like she held the. This is what she looks like. She held the door for somebody at Starbucks because she was a nice, polite person, and she let a man walk through the door for her. She held the door for the man.
Right.
The man walked in.
Right.
And what did he do? Did he order a coffee? No. Did he order a simple espresso? No, he did not. He ordered a caramel macchiato, light, half whip, no calf, third calf, and then on top of that, then he ordered the rainbow selection caramel macchiato, and she's going, "Are you kidding me? Really?"
I think
because she's just wanting a coffee.
Yeah.
She wants a coffee.
Yeah.
And he didn't even think like, well, would you have a simple order? And she goes, no, I'm getting 9 drinks and a sandwich. Because outside the 2 drinks he got, she's like, okay, whatever, it's coffee. And then he goes, what? Yeah, they had a question. What sandwiches do you have today and would you recommend? And now you're getting this look. Really?
I think you just summed up. So
Do you know who has good sandwiches and milkshakes that taste like coffee? Arby's. It's called a Jamocha shake and a Arby's sandwich.
And you can get some curly fries.
This is what she's looking at. She's
and
like,
they don't have any curly fries
she's
here.
screaming. She's saying Arby's. So we'll have to take a picture of that and include it in the podcast.
We'll include it in the whole thing. That's you also like summed up Chris's art, my partner Chris's art. I think that's like her constant feeling is what you just described.
Well, I think it's anybody over 35, I think feels the same way. Like, for real?
Yeah. Have you felt like that recently?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day. Every day somebody's doing something. Today there was a car. I'm doing like 75. And I'm like 8 feet from a semi truck, and for some reason this guy had to just squeeze right through there. And I'm like, and then stop. Then there was 2 semis in front of him. So he risked his life, he risked my life, he risked the trucker's life, and he got like 12 feet in front of me.
I don't know if I've ever talked about this.
This is the look I had.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever talked about this on the show before.
But every day.
But
every
like
day.
that feeling, you know how people will like you're driving, right? Especially on a not on an interstate because it's usually 70 or whatever, right? For miles and miles and miles. But if you're on just a state highway, right? And the speed limit's 55, but then you hit a little town and it goes to 45, right?
And then 35.
And then 35.
And then quickly there's a school day. Watch out.
Exactly. So
25.
Typically, and I'm not necessarily a rule follower, but I don't want to get pulled over. So I typically follow that rule, right? And especially if there's a school involved. So I follow that rule. But the people who will just maintain their 60 miles an hour, and then when we get on the other side, I catch them, and they're still going 60, but they should be going 70, that shit drives me insane.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
I usually pull over. I pull over and let people pass me all the time.
Oh, really?
I go ahead. Go ahead, Mario.
And then you throw a banana.
And I throw a banana at him. My wife reminded me today that I've been buying bananas and never eating them. And I thought, that's interesting. I don't think I've had a banana in 5 months, but I definitely buy them all the time.
I think about that a lot.
Because I'm thinking, I want a banana, and I know they're delicious.
Yeah.
And they're good for you. But she's like, I threw out your bananas again today. I know she keeps freezing them. So we can make some sort of rum. She says we can make a rum drink later.
Eventually you're going to make banana pudding?
We've never had a rum drink with a banana in it, ever. And I don't want to eat a frozen banana. I'm not the frozen banana guy.
I despise wasting food, though.
I know.
You know?
Well, she does too. But she does it. We just wait until it's obvious. Like, you obviously have to throw this away. I hate wasting food too, but
yeah,
I also don't want like 12, 15 small items in my refrigerator.
Yeah.
You know?
No, 100%. Yeah.
Kind of like, it's time to move.
Yeah, I'm trying to get better about it.
You know?
Yeah.
Here's what's difficult is returning things to me also. Like returning an item that costs $10. I have to think like in Atlanta. I have to think like if you called me up and said, Kevin, I'll give you $10 to take this pen back to the CVS, and it's on North Druid Hills, and I'll give you $10 if you do that. I go, I don't think I can do that for you for $10.
What about $20?
You know, $20 is gonna have to be on my way somewhere else. But Atlanta, it takes you half an hour to go anywhere, and then you have the park. And it's hot out. So at $20, I'm gonna go for it. I'll go for it. But $10, I'm not like if I get a bad bag of I don't know, plums.
Yeah.
A $4 bag of plums from Whole Foods.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say to myself, I gotta go to the return thing.
Yep. There's
how
a whole
much,
thing.
How much does it cost for me to have an interaction with another human being?
Yeah.
I usually get paid for that. It's usually like $1,000 an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
40's not gonna cut it.
I don't think the $7 plums. I mean, if I'm calling it to their attention that I'm helping other customers out, then I can foresee its usefulness, you know. But I would just rather throw it in the trash or throw it in the backyard and let a raccoon have it.
I understand that
Because I am passing it on.
Yeah.
By doing that.
Oh, I'm not even gonna tell the story, am I? I'll tell it and then I'll cut it out if I have to.
Okay.
I was doing yard work recently and I was taking out a bush. We have these like boxwoods that are kind of like in weird places in our yard. And so I took out this boxwood, and it turns out, oh my God, it breaks my heart to even tell the story.
Oh, was there a nest
frog
in there?
It was a frog.
Oh.
It was like a frog that had, I don't know what kind of frog lives under boxwoods, but there are frogs that live under boxwoods. And he was a little guy, and he was adorable. And I didn't see him at all. He was covered in dirt. And I clearly injured him as I was at some point, right? And so poor guy like wasn't getting around, and I didn't know what to do because I was like, first of all, I have a really hard time killing things.
Yes.
It's not a thing I do very well.
Me either.
And so I didn't want to kill him, but at the same time, I was like, well, he's hurting, but we have all kinds of critters in our yard. You know, we're in that weird place. We live in Orlando, and there's this weird kind of spot where it's like we're sort of in nature, but we're right next to downtown. It's kind of ideal. There's like lakes around us, but there's the freeway, right?
Right.
So I just left him there, figuring a bird or a snake or something like Circle of Life was my.
I was
thought
gonna say
process.
that Circle of Life.
Right. So I think that's the right decision.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
That was the right thing to do.
Thank you.
That was the right thing. The food chain. The food chain.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell like I'm kind of anxious even thinking about it.
But I
felt so bad.
But I think that what's important here is that you're never gonna let that happen again, are you? You're gonna look.
I'm gonna look for tree frogs.
You're gonna look first.
Yeah, or bush frogs.
I hope so. Otherwise, this interview is over.
We haven't even really talked about any of the 5,000 questions I wrote down.
Oh, I thought I wasn't. Oh, I thought that it said the marinade. I thought we were talking about recipes.
We are. We can talk about recipes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I do. My band recently bought me a smoker, so I've been smoking everything.
Okay.
So.
Like at the house, or do you trailer it?
No, it's at
behind
my house.
The gear.
It's
I'm
at my
picturing this
house.
really funny.
But it's actually my first real one that has a smoke box on it.
Yeah.
So I just the other day I was at the farmers market and there were already shucked oysters. You know, I never buy those, eat them raw because I guess if I don't know, it seems weird. I like the shell.
Sure.
And I know that people buy them to make stuffing, but I thought, ooh, I'm gonna smoke these.
Yeah.
Because they were delicious. So if you guys got a smoker at home, smoke some oysters.
Smoked oysters does sound great.
It was really, really good.
I've only recently, so I quit eating meat a few years ago, but I've only recently kind of dipped my toe back into shellfish.
Okay. Well,
right?
see, I was reading your mind. I was reading.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't go right. I didn't say anything about.
I appreciate it.
Red
we weren't
meats at all.
pork butt. We weren't straight to pork. We were straight to brisket.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a. Yeah.
You're not a brisket guy?
I've never done a brisket. I used to do pork shoulders in New York when I lived in Brooklyn, and everybody would they would love to come to our house because we had real smoked pork shoulder. It would take me like 12 hours to do one.
Yeah.
And I would grill all winter long because I'm from Wisconsin originally.
Right.
So
Milwaukee, right?
and at one time I was grilling in like January,
Yeah.
and the woman on the fire escape above we had a little backyard,
Mm-hmm.
and she comes out. She leans over. She goes, "Ow, you're cooking." Well, I'm grilling, but yes, I'm not homeless.
Technically, yeah.
I'm not cooking.
Yeah. She
on
thought it was
the
like a
grill.
trash barrel fire. Is that what she was expecting?
It's like the round.
Yeah.
So
Weber looking thing?
no,
or-
it's the one that looks like a barrel. So it does look like a barrel.
Sure.
But cooking would say, my stove doesn't work, and I'm cooking my family food outside because I don't have a stove and I don't know how to use one. Or
Like I'm baking a cake on the grill
yeah, I'm
or
cooking.
something.
I'm not really cooking. I'm kind of just I'm grilling. So there we go. There's our marinade section of and I did marinate it in Jack Daniel's, my pork shoulder.
Does
Jack Daniel's
does the process of, especially with the smoker, right? You got a new tool, really, right? It's sort of like when you get
I have
a new,
it back. Yeah, I
is it
haven't
like-
had one for a while.
Is it like when you get a new guitar and you're like, there's that invigorating feeling of
Really?
like, I just want to play this.
Yeah, I don't ever feel that way.
You don't
about
with a new guitar?
guitars.
Really?
I'm not. I've guitar. I play the guitar about at home as many times as I eat a banana. They're everywhere.
You're just throwing them out. Your wife is throwing out your
I
guitars.
have them, but I just never use them.
So Sadler said, he was on episode 20 of the show.
Okay.
That's a perfect segue.
Okay.
He said,
We'll
quote,
talk about music.
Kevn has such a free way of writing. We can talk about whatever you want, by the
Sure.
way. He said Kevn has such a free way of writing. He's in where he is in his mind. I think the narrator is just something out of this world. And then Aaron Lee Tasjan said something to the effect of, in a different interview.
Mhm.
I didn't interview him yet, but Aaron, if you're listening, please, I'd love to. He said that you are an intuitive artist, that you trust your intuition quite a bit. So, like, what I'm processing of your creative process is you're just sort of like, the idea strikes and then it goes.
I think so. I guess so.
I mean, then it
Well,
flows.
I think what I do is I think if I can demonstrate something here,
That would be great.
let me demonstrate. This is 3 days ago.
Okay.
Okay. Wait, that's not my notepad. That's my notepad. This is that's TuneIn Radio. I'm listening to the Woodstock Live.
Oh, uh-huh.
Did you hear about that? Like you
Uh-uh.
can, like on at WXPN
Uh-huh.
in Philadelphia, is doing everything exactly as set times were and Woodstock at the real time, and they have all the real
dope.
and they have all the real tapes.
Oh, cool.
So it's really great because you can listen to the commentators talk about. They're not doing it right now because they're in a rain delay. Wait. Oh no, that's not it. So anyway, that's I am digressing. Oh, here we go. So this is voice messages. So let's see what this one is. So this is us doing a sound check the other day. I'm testing on my pedal. Can you hear it?
Yeah. I did hear it. There we go.
And then there's like the lowest setting. We're doing about the fan. I'm saying, turn the fan on the lowest setting, and then Dave's like, oh, that should be the name of the song. So this is gonna be the name of the song, the lowest setting. And so now I have to think about what is the lowest setting, and so it's gonna and then I'm thinking I want to do like more of a Peter Murphy kind of thing with it.
Uh-huh.
But it'll eventually, I'll think I'm doing like Peter Murphy, but then it'll come off like me. Like it'll be like or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And then let me go way back here and see if I can find something here that is on the record here. Let me see if I can find something that's on the record. I'm not sure.
That would be amazing.
Nope, that's not it. That's something I'm working on. Let me see here.
You got little notations there too. Is that like where you?
This is another one I'm working on.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
I like that.
So this machine here kind of has it. So what I'm doing is I'm just.
Are you
I have
just
a melody.
ad-libbing?
I'm not saying anything. So I'm just letting. It's coming through me.
Yeah.
I'm just channeling. But see, what I do is what most people don't do is I stop and say, I'm gonna record this and I'm gonna remember this. And
So
then
you're just taking your phone out of your pocket and hitting the
I take
phone?
record, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to find something. So that was a good one. I wish I would have saved that.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here, this is cool.
Oh yeah, Ian McClagan.
Yeah, here's Ian McClagan.
Yeah.
This is me sitting
I
on a
love that
picnic
song.
bench. This is me sitting on a picnic bench. The Songwriter Festival,
Where?
Pensacola.
Oh yeah.
So I'm just sitting there and I come up with this riff.
Were you just making nonsense there?
Yeah.
At that point? So how does it get from that to the song? Because that song is one of my favorites on the record.
Trying to write a song. Then I kind of came up with something that I wanted to do where I was at South by Southwest. Then a couple months later, I don't know what year it is. That's May 27th, 2017. Okay.
Okay.
So probably, and then I was probably in Austin, and I was thinking about Ian McClagan.
Yeah.
The last time I saw him was actually, I never met him. So there he was walking up the alley, and then, so I was just like, oh. And then I kind of that was kind of like a Faces.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it together. It just kind of came together.
Wow.
And I just told the story. So
did you remember that little riff?
I've been
there?
remembering this riff, yeah.
It was just in your head.
It was in my head, yeah. And then, there's a bridge. Here's the bridge. I'm trying to remember the... So it's kind of, it could have, yeah, it could be. So I took all this to Aaron's when we started the thing, and
Yeah.
so that's part of the process. But I think what they sing is very nice.
Yeah, well, they're both
But,
obviously big fans of yours.
Yeah, but,
which is, I think,
but
says
there
a lot
is-
also because they both were in your band. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, and I do. The set list and the whole show is just. It's about being open enough and trusting your improv skills.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time it works, and then 10% of the time it's just a shit show, and you hit your butt, and you hit your echo pedal, and you just let it go and regroup. So usually when you see me noodling around on the echo pedal, it means I don't have an idea about what's happening yet, but I'm about to.
That's good to know.
Yeah, whenever I'm just, how do I do this? I have to close this out. Yeah. So then I have these notes here. I'll have notes, and I said, okay, and this one is embrace the shit show. Madonna 2020. Madonna versus Trump. I think this is the easiest. This is it. Head to head. Head to airhead. Head to airhead. Embrace the shit show. So I don't know where that would ever wind up.
But there may be a song in there.
It was the early dawn of the disposable evolution. In the mid-'70s, I remember my father getting so upset when things I had wouldn't last 3 weeks. Gone was the era of wooden tin toys replaced by plastic gears, plastic housing, cheaply made products bent on destruction. I remember trying to fix these with tape and glue, and when in fact the box should have said, if broken, throw away. I don't know where that's gonna wind up, but it might wind its way up into a political, hidden thing like "when broken, throw away" or something like that. So,
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your compliments, your wonderful compliments from my brothers, but
It does. It's pretty ideal. It's a pretty ideal answer, actually. I think you knocked that answer out of the park. It's not a competition, but you're winning.
I guess what I'm saying is a little more random than, it's a little more random. And then, I wake the dog a little bit. Like once it's done, I'll be kind of like, yeah, what is that about? I'll be like, what do you think it's about? They're like, well, I think it's about, I was like, absolutely. That's exactly what it's about.
To bandmates,
or just to myself,
to yourself,
whatever. I'll try what's the song that I'm doing now? Someday. I'm not really quite sure what it's about. Someday, things will all be okay. Someday it'll be true. I'm still working on the narrative of that one.
Well, it's interesting that you gave a couple of examples of melody coming first, and then you just read something that was just words, right? Or thoughts, right? Does one predominate, or is it just sort of?
Well, it depends on if folk songs usually has more of an idea about what's going to happen. For the Drivin N Cryin thing, it's really mostly just about melody. The rock thing, I just kind of start with a melody, and then like the Fly Me Courageous record, I kind of wrote that all in one night, like from the tapes. I was like getting closer. You're starting vocals tomorrow. I was like, I know, like, man, it's you. Wait, you are gonna love these. And I think I did The Innocent. I did Build a Fire. I did For You. And a lot of those were like just saying, like, it had melodies and it was really close. And Fly Me Courageous, I think, was the last one. And that was like the one, like, I got you. I'm like, it was like, you loves to waiting. So I was like, okay, I got you on the loose. I left you waiting. I left you broken. Just matter on the thief. Just out on the cliff.
Wow. And that's one of your most beloved
records.
It
makes absolutely no sense. But rule number one in songwriting, sometimes you want the words to mean something, and then sometimes you never want to get in the way of a good riff, I think. Sometimes. Okay. Maybe.
How do you feel that out? Or are you just kind of, is that still intuition?
I have no, that's just, I don't know, laziness, intuition. It's a little bit of both. But that song is just a terrible song.
I love that song.
It makes no sense. I know, I love it too.
I was listening to
but
it
I've never really played acoustic. Like I play Build a Fire acoustic, like what's new, what's going. I do. Yeah. I can break down lots of songs.
Yeah. And
do them totally different. Scarborough Smarter is one of my better ones. I can do 10 different versions. But Fly Me.
Well, what is it?
Once I break that down, I don't know what the heck. It's like, I got you on the loose, I left you grooving.
Yeah. So,
really?
But it's so great. It resonates too. And like, I don't know. It's like my buddy picked me up from the bus station today, and that was the song he was like, man, I've been trying to, because he wasn't familiar with your work.
Right.
And so he's like, man, I've been listening to it. I really like this song.
Right. Well, I was reading Profiles in Courage with John Kennedy. Was part of the courageous part. This Captain's courageous. I borrow some things. Like Build a Fire is actually a Jack London title for a book. To Build a Fire. To Build a Fire is actually a book about a guy that I think I remember this correctly, but he's like, he's struggling to keep himself warm in the winter, and somehow he gets stranded, and he builds a fire, and the fire heats up the branches above him, and it melts the snow and keeps putting out his fire. So it's kind of just about like chasing something and having it constantly be taken away, and just rebuilding it and taking it away and taking it away and building it and building it and taking it away, and just keep doing it, being diligent, I guess is what the point was.
Right. Are you mining that? Are you mining books and films or whatever for ideas?
I did.
Yeah.
Not anymore, I don't think. I got enough ideas now. Like like Free Ain't Free. That's definitely something that irritates me. That's something that you see a lot.
Yeah.
In Atlanta or all over America.
All
this
over.
neighborhood, you see these young black families here that live and have lived in this neighborhood since 1970s. You know, and
this
the
amphitheater
slumlords
came
let
along.
people, and then they built thing, and then they don't. There's no way to compensate or give people a break that have lived in neighborhood. It happens in Atlanta a lot,
Yeah.
And like my friend Chris Griffin, our sound man,
Mm-hmm.
perfect example. He's lived on this street for almost 30 years. He has a job, so he can afford it, but he hasn't moved.
Mm-hmm.
He kept the same old house, still lives there. Pays the property taxes go up. But his garbage this week, they got a bill from the city for a year's worth of garbage is $900.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's old women living on pensions.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you get a bill for $900. They haven't spent $900 on anything
From
in
the
their life
government.
probably ever.
Yeah.
They've never bought themselves a $900 dress or a $900 piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
They're gonna give $900, and they're like, "Well, if you don't like it, maybe I don't know, maybe you should leave."
Yeah. Ooh, fuck that.
You know what I
language.
mean?
Oh, that fucking language,
Yeah,
man.
maybe you should just go.
Fucking A.
So that's in San Francisco. They get you in San Francisco, but in San Francisco, there's a bar there called like the Saloon, and it's right there in North Beach. And I'm like, how does this place stay open? I mean, it's like the crappy little bar. It's got a couple 40-watt bulbs. It's like an old Hell's Angel bar or something.
Yeah.
They said, well, yeah, it's because there's like mega banks all around it and stuff. And my friend explained to me that in San Francisco, you still pay basically a percentage of what you paid for it. Like in the 50s when they built this place, that was probably $20,000 for that building. So they pay on that.
Wow.
They don't pay as if it was $17 million, which is probably what they could sell it for.
Right.
They don't pay that until they sell it.
Right.
And then those next people will have to pay that.
That's interesting.
So it encourages you to stay in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
It encourages you to be part of the neighborhood, So
on the way
I
here,
love that. I don't know if that's even, I'm sure they're trying to repeal it or whatever. But that's kind of what Free Ain't Free was about. One aspect of it. I try to have a couple different storylines.
Yeah.
In that one, I have two storylines. One is just free ain't like every time you think you're free, it's nothing's free, obviously.
Right.
But then there's like the real practical part where she and her husband have a house.
Right.
It's a lovely house.
Yeah.
And he dies, and she still lives there, and she was fine. And then all of a sudden they charged her $1,000 for garbage, and she's like, "Where do I come up with an extra $1,000 for garbage?"
Right.
And she's by herself. She probably has 5 Kroger bags worth of garbage a week.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just top. I try to do things like that to inspire conversation sometimes.
Am I correct in saying that the new record is a little more topical in that way? Like that you're a little more direct about sort of things that you see and that you want to talk about?
Mm-hmm. I think I'm getting to that age where, like I was saying, like I think every show's my first, every show's my last. Every record's my first, every record's my last.
That's
I don't know if I feel like I don't know if I feel like making any more records. I might. Right now, I don't have any ideas to make another one. So I'm treating this like it's my last record. I'm just doing everything I can for it. I love it. I trusted Aaron to make a great record, and he did. And nobody was allowed to go to the mix. We recorded it, and then Aaron picked the songs. We wrote them in his living room. We put the voice memos and the words together, the melodies together. We cut it. We had all that going. Finished it up, recording wise. And then he pieced it together, And I didn't hear it till it was done and sequenced. And me and Todd Snyder and Elizabeth, we just sat down in the studio, and I said, "Okay, go." We sat there together, and we listened to the whole record in sequence, and we're like, "Love it."
Wow.
That was it. And that's the way it is. We haven't changed one sequence. We haven't changed one mix.
Yeah.
Everything's the way it was.
Well, I was gonna ask
it's his
you.
art.
That's so great because I was gonna. Wow. Oh, so there's so much I want to explore.
Because a screenwriter doesn't get to direct a film.
True.
And neither do the actors.
True.
You have to trust that director.
But I feel like so rarely it happens as extremely as you just described in music, right? I mean, certainly there are artists who will trust a producer, but not on the level you just described. I mean, the sequencing, for example, usually that's, from my experience in talking with musicians, typically that's a collaborative kind of process. And the sequencing I was going to ask you about, because I feel like it is perfect.
Right.
Like, the B-side begins, and it's like this kind of kickoff, it's kind of happier. Yeah. And then the whole B-side is like, it flows in a different way, but it's still that cohesive. I just think he knocked that out of the park.
He did, yeah.
Just crushed that.
Right.
And so I wanted, that was one of the things I was going to ask you about, right? It's like that kicking off with Free Ain't Free makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Right? And if you look at all I wrote down the track listing because I was specifically thinking about the sequencing of it.
Yeah.
And the sweetness of
I had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Ian McClagan going into Over and Over.
Yeah.
What a perfect choice. The nostalgia of Over and Over.
Mm-hmm.
This beautiful song. And I wanted to ask you about that too. Like if nostalgia is something that, are you nostalgic by nature, and does that inspire you in some way? Because that song is just like, oh.
It's a true story. When my first time bought my own record at a Goodwill.
Okay.
And I was like, this is awesome. But then, then I think about, I'm not, well, yeah, I guess we're talking about trust first. But yes. Yeah. But yeah, I really wanted, I made Aaron, I really, I kind of learned this. I did this, this is the second time I've done this, because the first time I did it was with Anton Fear on a record I did called Good Country Mile. And I was like, Anton is like a Kubrick kind of, he knows more than you. He knows you better than you. He knows the song better than you. He knows the references better than me. So it's like, I'm like, okay, because I would comment on things through the process, comment on things like, I can't even make an example, but I would say something, he would be like, and? I'd be like, well, I just, okay, forget it. So, one of the things was, the studio is open today. I said, yeah, it's my birthday. He goes, and? I'll be there in 20 minutes. I like being directed, so I liked being directed. I thought, I like this. I like being, I like giving, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna invite the saxophone player from some band to do this. But Aaron, I know, should do this. I think I would let Sadler do it. Mm-hmm.
He'd probably be good at that.
I would probably let Patterson Hood do it. I would probably we did ask Patterson to produce us once, but he was busy. But I thought, people who have a good musical knowledge and people you can trust to do that. I mean, I have the wrong. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been in charge of remixing and resequencing, and then it's not really, doesn't really. Look at Mystery Road.
I see what you're
Mystery
saying.
Road starts off with a fiddle song. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? It's, Wild Dog Moon. Come on, let's get Honeysuckle Blue. Come on, let's kick this record off. What do I think? Don't listen to me. There's a great example on this record that What's Wrong with Being Happy?
Yeah.
Hated that guitar part. Lauer's guitar, that pedal. I'm like, I hate that pedal. Like, I was like,
yeah.
Now I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
And everybody did love it.
Yeah.
But I was just like so ingrained in like the REM, Let's Active, kind of like, they don't use that pedal. They would use a 12-string there or something. So I'm like, So I was.
Yeah, but the end result is great. So like I
No,
get you're hooked on.
I'm just
it's something you're
saying-
hooked on something technical rather than
I'm being honest. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
like
yeah,
it, but I
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
stop myself.
Right.
And I didn't say I like the whole record, but I don't like that.
Was that Lauer
I said
or was that
that's
Aaron?
Lauer doing
Lauer,
that.
Lauer said that.
Lauer
like,
doing it, and
that was
Aaron.
his idea.
It's Lauer's idea and
Yeah.
probably Aaron. They love it, so I
Yeah.
was like, I'm here to learn from these the people who are in early 30s and even earlier. I'm not here to share anything with them outside of like where to go, like how to, like always when you exit on the highway, always try to pick the gas station on your right so you can get back on the highway easier. That I could teach you. How to back the van into a fence and maybe jackknife a little bit so no one can steal it. That I can teach you. Bring Christmas lights always to your hotel room because you want your bathroom to have a nice little Christmas light thing so you have to light on. This I can teach you.
Sage wisdom.
Sage wisdom.
What have you learned from those
I don't
guys?
know crap about making records.
With those guys,
I'm not I hate being in a studio. It's like going to the doctor. I just hate it.
Oof. That's strong.
I go to the
language.
doctor more than I go to the studio. And
Really?
I like going to the doctor.
So is it the
I'm a
live?
great doctor.
Oh, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I talk about it too much on
It
the show.
feels so. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a whole
Well, I'm
phone.
on
The Marinade.
Oh, there's something going on. Hello.
And we're back.
Hello.
You were talking about just like we didn't miss a step. We solved all kinds.
Well, we were talking about Tom Petty.
We were talking about Petty.
We can move on to better questions.
I was at.
Well, you're asking me what I was learning from these guys. I think
we
that's
got
the
through
main
that.
question.
I was at, and you said really sweet things about them.
I did.
And their young.
I said about
taste.
Lauer too.
Yeah, you did. We were talking. Oh, what you're consuming? What are you listening to? Your Orville Peck.
The Orville Peck is something I was listening to. Actually, you know what I'm listening to? I listened to the Woodstock live today.
Yeah.
I never really listened to Jefferson Airplane before, and live, they're fantastic.
Oh, cool.
I never really listened to Jack Cassidy.
I don't think I ever really spent much time either.
You should try it out.
Okay.
I'm telling you, not the records sometimes not really translating, but this their jamming is really good.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about?
Whereas I'm learning today, also Joe Cocker, kind of boring. I thought he would be more
interesting.
exciting.
Yeah, I would think
But
of
his
Joe Cocker as
performance,
super fun.
He could have had 3 songs. 12 songs was too many.
I do like those 3 songs though.
It was the last one. It was good. It was Feeling All Right. That was
Yeah,
good.
That's a good song.
But he's really kind of just, I like Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
I like the Mad Dogs Englishman. I like that era. But the Woodstock performance, I learned about a band named Quill that was a local band. I'm learning a lot about the Woodstock thing today,
Yeah,
and I'm
that's
kind of
fun.
embracing it because I like that everybody's talking about it's the 50th anniversary. I'm so glad their 50th anniversary concert fell through.
Yeah.
I thought, what
yeah.
a disaster that's going to be.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Miley Cyrus as part of the 50th Woodstock.
Mm-mm.
What's the matter with you people?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And what's interesting, too, is, like, Santana. That's his first trip, like, it's his first concert, like, east of the Mississippi. Yeah, and it's, like, right after his first record came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And he's accidentally tripping. And he's saying to himself, stay in tune, stay in time. Stay in tune, stay in time. Stay in tune, stay in time.
He's audibly saying that?
To himself. In an interview, he's like, he's talking to himself the whole time.
Yeah.
He's like, I knew my motor skills would work, but I'm saying to myself, stay in tune, stay in time, stay in tune, stay in time. I was like, well, that's amazing.
That is
This is
amazing.
his first show in front of,
Yeah.
he was early, so there was only like 200,000 people there.
Yeah.
So it's not that big a deal. But Mountain, the band Mountain, great band, 3rd show ever.
That's pretty wild.
3rd show ever. So Santana's like first show outside of San Francisco area. It's Mountain's 3rd show. I've been around 35 years. I've got a gold record. I've made 17 albums. I have never even been to Bonnaroo. What the hell? Really?
Get on it, Bonnaroo.
I'm gonna have to start a new band and play 2 shows, and then I'm gonna get
yeah,
on Bonnaroo.
I think that's probably
That's the thing. I'm gonna
just
look
change
up-
the name.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna use one of my song calls
Yeah.
from my notes. Let me pick a good one here.
If you want to cross-brand this, you could just call yourselves like the Marinators.
Oh, right. There
or
you
something
go.
like that.
I
and
like
Would
that.
be cool with me.
Okay.
Yeah, you have free reign to do that.
Well, here's a poem I wrote. Want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Death. This is my death. This is my. I think this was gonna be my. When the biological vehicle for your spirit and soul stops working and shuts off. The spirit and soul continue the journey in another dimension. Death. So maybe I could be Spirit and Soul will be the name of our new
Spirit
band.
and Soul will
Spirit
work.
and Soul.
Or death.
Headline in Bonnaroo. Well, not headline. We're opening for the Foo Fighters. 3rd show ever. Spirit and Soul.
Spirit and Soul warming you up for Skrillex.
Yeah. We're the Imagine Dragons. We're on the side stage. Spirit and Soul. What about Drivin N Cryin? Nah. They're not proven.
No, that's not what
They're
we're
not
looking
proven.
for. We're looking for
You know, those kids.
Spirit and Soul.
Those kids, those Drivin N Cryin kids, they're just. What are you going to do with those guys?
Put
God
them on the
bless them.
side
God
stage.
dang it. You know what?
11:30 slot.
I got 2 words for you. They're trying.
Trying and crying.
Trying and crying. Oh, man.
Are you gonna play the first Spirit and Soul song ever tonight? Maybe.
I'm going to write it right now. It's called Welcome to the Shit Show.
Welcome to the shit show.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that one called? All right. All right. That's all my wedding gifts. The drinks are on me. Let's see. Oh, here's a good one. A good fuck you is always just a few seconds away.
No, that is pretty good.
That's one of my thoughts, my daily thoughts. Like, don't mess with me. I'm always. Oh, here you go. Okay, here's my final thought. Are we ready?
Yes.
And then are we good?
Yeah,
Did
I
we
think
answer some
it's-
questions.
Yeah, no, this
We
is
could talk another time too.
this is great. This is
So
you've
this
given
is-
me more than I could ask
Here's
for.
something that I was thinking the other day that I wanted to write. I was gonna maybe write this on the back of the record,
Uh-huh.
but I talked myself out of it, and then I was going to maybe put it in on our website, and I talked myself out of that as well.
Okay. So now we'll immortalize it here.
Dear premillennial generation, why bother? We invented everything before we were born. Kevin would like to apologize on behalf of Drivin N Cryin for having a minor MTV hit in the early 90s. Thank you.
And scene.
Okay. Okay.
That was so much fun.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for being patient.
Last time that I saw you, you were carrying your gear in the rain. Down the alley at your dog, after playing all day with your friends. The first time that I heard you, it was the faces, ooh la la. I bought it at the one-hand pantry. I played it all night long. Come on, dance.
Kevn Kinney, y'all, what an honor. Thank you so much, Kevin. I expected this to be a good episode, but damn, that was fun. Thank you all so much for listening. You can find all things Drivin N Cryin at drivinandcriing.com. Check out their record, Live the Love Beautiful. It's outstanding, and you definitely won't be disappointed. Follow the Marinade on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates on the show. Tell a friend or two about us. Subscribe and rate us on your podcast app. These are all free, painless ways to really help the show. I just appreciate you listening, but if you can do any of one of those little things, it makes a big difference. And if you really, really like what we're doing, please consider joining our Patreon community. For just a few dollars a month, you can get exclusive content, like our Patreon exclusive show, Jason's Journey, where I talk about the moments that have shaped my creative life. Also, check out all the content on marinadepodcast.com, including written pieces, my own concert photography, as well as some of my collaborators, like the great Jen Ross of Jen Ross Photography, and then our website exclusive episodes. All right, y'all, it's time for what I'm getting down on, this segment where I talk about the art that I'm fired up about at the moment, and there are a handful of things that are really exciting me. I've been trying to write this review, but I feel like I can't do it justice. A review of Will Johnson's new record. It's my favorite thing anyone has released in a long time. It's called Wire Mountain, and the album may be my favorite thing he's done, and that's saying a lot because I'm a huge Will Johnson fan. Never had a chance to see him play and never had a chance to meet him, but one of these days I really hope that those two things happen. In the meantime, he's creating great art repeatedly, and I'm so thankful for this record. I can't stop listening to it. I'm telling you, it's just overwhelming. Goliath is back on Amazon for season 3. Billy Bob Thornton, so great. I love this show. I talked about it a long time ago, back when seasons 1 and 2 were on. This season is kind of trippy, and it's bordering almost on campy, and I am here for it, buddy. I mean, it's so good. I'm reading Ray Bradbury's Dandelion Wine. Bradbury's one of my favorites, but his ruminations on growing up in the Midwest are something that my great friend Peter Haroldson recommended to me a long time ago, and I just kept putting it off for whatever reason. It's I think really more written for like a adolescent or high school age kind of kid, but it translates to adulthood for sure. It's such a great book, and it's so fantastically written, as Bradbury is known to do. Y'all, I love you. I appreciate you, every one of you. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, go out and create something. Cheers, y'all.